Hi there and welcome to part 2 of the beginner's guide to Flux Dev on replicate.com. So in the last video we did an overview should I say, of how to use Flux Dev on replicate.com, and we went through all the basic parameters and explained what they were, and this is what we came up with here at the end. We just generated these quick images. Now I'm going to focus on one thing at a time and really go into the nitty-gritty. So in this video we're going to be looking at the prompt, but I'm actually going to pair this with the seed because I think they go hand in hand. So in this video we're going to go into more in-depth view of the prompt itself and the seed value, which is further down. So we've got our original prompt here, which we typed in at the end of the last video to generate these images. And the prompt box itself is very simple. With Flux, you tend to use natural language. So if you've used like Stable Diffusion, older Stable Diffusion models in the past, SD 1.5, SDXL even, the prompts are more kind of tag based. So it's a lot of short phrases and words separated with commas, but with Flux it's more natural language. So you can see here the language of it is as you would describe it to someone if you're talking to them, a close-up high contrast photo. So it's a kind of a conversational thing, so which kind of makes it easier in my mind because it just seems to be a little bit more natural way of communicating it. So you type your prompt in here. Of course, if you want to amend it after it's been generated, you could just simply come back here and change whatever you like. So we could change this to a 50-year-old man with long grey hair. 50-year-old man with long grey hair, looking away from the camera with the background. So you can just tweak the prompt that simply and click run to rerun your images. But what we're going to do here is look at the prompt in association with the seed. So previously, in the previous video, I showed you that after you've generated an image, if you come all the way down here to the log section, you'll see it's got a seed value down here. So you copy that using Command C or Control and C, depending on if you're a PC or a Mac, and then you can enter it, paste it back into this seed value here. And what that's going to do is it's going to keep the images fairly similar to the original generations in terms of overall look and composition. They will change. They're not going to be exactly the same, especially if you're changing quite big factors within the prompt. But it's going to give you more consistency than if you left the seed blank and you were just running it with a complete random element. But just to explain a little bit more, or to emphasize this a little bit more, if you entered the seed back in but didn't change anything and clicked run again, you will get identical images to you than before. I hope that makes sense. So for now we've made some changes to the prompt. We've put in the same seed, so we're going to see kind of similar images to these, and I'm going to click run, and we're going to see what we get for these particular images. Now there's not really much in terms of special techniques for prompting in Flux. So we've got like similar background, similar kind of angles. This one's facing the other way, but you can see how we've kept a very similar look and composition, at least to one of these, and the other one, they look part of the same family still. Whereas if that seed was 0 and it was allowed to generate some random, you might just get something completely different and not as much in a line. So keep the seed locked if you want to make changes that reflect at least approximately the original values of the image. So now we've got these. I can just download them by clicking the button, and you can come in and change the prompt again. There really isn't too much kind of technical behind the scenes knowledge when it comes to prompting now. It really is a case of just experimenting with the language and the terminology and just seeing what works for you. But what I like to do is, once I've got a prompt, if I've locked the seed, if I've kept the same seed number, and I've now got something that I like the overall look to, like I like the styling of this shot and this shot, and I'm like, yeah, I like this, I might want to explore other options now, then I'd be tempted to keep the prompt as it is, and then remove the seed value, and then rerun a couple more times, just to give yourself some different options. So once you've used the locked seed to kind of help to evaluate your prompt changes and how they affect the image, then maybe you can unlock the seed and continue to run a few more just to get some more variant and different options. So you can see here on these ones, a lot closer up, darker lighting here, a lot moodier, And in this one, the composition's different. It's closer to the center, but still quite off center. It's just a different look, but still a very nice look. So that's all I really would have to say about the prompt and the seed specifically. Other than that, it's a case of experimenting, seeing what you like. And if you want to do this the cheapest way possible, then it might be worth experimenting with prompting in one of the cheaper models like Flux Schnell. Even though you're not going to get the same results translating over into Flux Dev, it's going to be a lot cheaper. And maybe once you just get your head around and get a bit more confident with what changes words can make to your prompt, then you can sort of apply that knowledge back on some of the more expensive models and know that you're not going to be spending too much money. Well, I hope you enjoyed that one, and I will join you again for the next part.